You're going to love this one. Listen to this. A bill being introduced in the New York State Assembly would allow the governor and other health officials to detain anyone suspected of being a carrier of a contagious disease. The legislation is sponsored by Assemblyman Nick Perry and was previously introduced in 2015 but never passed. The bill's language says that if the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease, then the state can take steps to detain any individuals sick or suspected of being sick. Quote, upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, the governor may, after consulting the health commissioner, order the removal and/or detention of such a person or of a group of such persons by issuing a single order identifying such persons either by name or by a reasonably specific description of the individuals or group being detained. Close quote. Those detained can only be released if the state proves that the person is not a threat to public health. Persons detained would be held in a medical facility or another appropriate facility or premises designated by the governor for no longer than 3 days, but could be held longer. If a detained person is ordered to be kept past 3 days, they can then request a release. The governor would then be obligated to apply for a court order authorizing the extended detention after 3 days under the legislation. Once a person is deemed to no longer be contagious, they will be released. The bill also notes that any person who is detained shall not conduct himself or herself in a disorderly manner and shall not leave or attempt to leave such facility or premises until he or she is discharged. The legislation would also allow the governor to issue and seek enforcement of any other orders deemed necessary to help protect public health, including inoculation. Assemblyman Kieran Michael Lalore said that if the bill passes, New Yorkers will suffer years of unspeakable abuses to their liberties. Quote, if the Gulag-Bill became law, useful idiots in the press would likely provide cover and rationalize the need for the legislation. By the time the constitutionality of detaining people without due process was adjudicated by the courts, it would be too late. New Yorkers would have suffered years of unspeakable abuses to their liberties, close quote, Lalore said in a statement. To access the bill's full text, click the link in the production notes below this video. This is Nancy Morgan Hart for Headlines with a Voice.